Hey guys, welcome back. Christine IC here, and today is a van video. I know I haven't been posting regularly on the van, just life is happening. Gone on several trips and just a life event happened towards the end of the year. We are back at the van and I will be posting, I'm going to redo the solar panel one because I messed up on editing on a part of it. But these three videos have been worked on kind of all at once. The awning, the camera system, and the solar panels, they all kind of were worked all at once, but I've separated them so you get a better idea of how we installed it, or how Matt installed it. So a lot of this work is done by Matt because this is just over my head. I try to help it as best I can, but most of the time, I'm putting the videos together, but he's the brains behind this part of it. It's actually really cool how this is all turning out. Soon there'll be electrical wiring and insulation video coming up. So we're slowly plugging away again, and we have a nice break in between trips right now so that we can get a majority of it done. But we have a deadline, but I'm not going to mention that because I don't want to jinx it. Deadline of when we need to be done with the van, or at least it's moving, and I'm sure we'll tweak more and more. If you have any questions, please comment below. We are more than happy to try to answer them best we can. This is our own custom DIY van build.
How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to Christine's channel. Today we are continuing the work on the things that are going on the outside of the van. In particular, today we're working on the awning. We have a Dometic 9500 power awning. It's a 10-foot awning, and that's what we're working on mounting today. Here's the awning. We got black, which matches a number of the things we have on the outside, the roof rack included. You can see the awning itself, plus then the mounting bracket. Now to mount this, you can see there's actually two channels that go along the back of the entire awning, and they match up then with the channels of the mounting bracket. This mounting bracket gets mounted then to the side of the van or to the roof rack in our case, and then the awning slips into those, and that's how it mounts then. There are also some small screw holes in the bottom of that mounting bracket that look like some small panhead screws attached then to the bottom here of the awning. Because of the way ours is mounted, I'm still a little unsure how I'm going to get that part to work. All right, now we're up on the scaffolding here. You can see here's the mounting bracket. The way this is meant to be mounted is through these holes. They've already pre-drilled them, they squared them, because they sent along some 1/4-28 carriage bolts, galvanized. And they say on the instructions that this is where the shoulders are, where the arms come out. This is where they mount. That's why this is where the majority of the weight is. So they want you to make sure you mount in these spots. And then you can see here we have the mounting surface, or the side panel for the roof rack. That's where the awning is going to be mounted. Things I'm trying to consider now is with the mounting bolts for the side panel on the roof rack, this obviously can't sit flush up against there. If I wanted to, I could actually put some washers in here where the mounts are and sit the whole thing off and leave a little gap. I'm also thinking about just adding these through some of the holes in the mounting bracket to mount it flush. But I'm going to put it on with some clamps here and see what it kind of looks like to help decide how to mount that next. Okay, we're looking at the mounting bracket now pushed into the awning itself. This is how it will mount onto the roof rack. One of the issues then, as you can see, there's a couple of small holes here. Those holes are actually what mount the awning. There's some self-tapping screws you put through there, and that keeps the awning then from wanting to slide within the bracket. Once this is mounted to the van sits here, I will not be able to drill those there. So I'm going to pre-drill these so that way I can put the self-tappers in without having to then drill a hole, because there'll already be one. Okay, now I have the mounting bracket mocked up here on the roof rack. What I decided to do was actually make some relief holes here, so that way these bolts that actually mount the side rails of the roof rack didn't get disturbed. these are really not strong enough, in my opinion, to hold any weight like this, like the awning. So I just didn't want them having any of that in there. Even though I'm going to put other bolts through, it would still hold a percentage of that, and I didn't want that. So now this way, these bolts that hold the side rail on for the roof rack don't get disturbed. Realistically, once this is bolted through the 80/20, the roof rack side will be held on with that, but it does still hold on the front fairing and then the back rail here. So I didn't want to change how that was working. So I just made these relief holes so that way this will sit flush and not have to rock on top of those. I also could have spaced this out with some washers or something to space the mounting bracket for the awning out, but I like the fact that this is now tied up against there. I think it'll give it a better structure. What I will do now then is I'm going to drill holes, obviously, through here into mount where these go, but I'm also going to drill actually through the 80/20 coming outwards. That way I can mount all the way through this into the 80/20. That's where the main structure is going to take place. I have the mounting bracket for the awning mounted here. Now the kit came with grade 8.8 hardware, and I don't want to use the galvanized, so I prefer to use stainless steel. You can see then I use just stainless steel button head cap screws, 1/4 20 instead of 1/4 28. But because they don't have quite the same head, they're close but not quite the same size, and this is not grade 8.8, stainless is not. I doubled up the amount of fasteners. It ended up coming with 12 fasteners is what it was made to be, but I added 6 more then in the middle of each of these. And here's the awning mounted. The awning itself literally just slips onto this channel. Then it has a few small screws right in here. There we go. It's got a few small screws. You can see them right there. Now the way this in the instructions is mounted, since this is normally mounted on the outside of a camper, they want you to put this in place, then drill the holes and use some self-tapping screws that are Phillips head to put those in. Because we can't do that, I pre-drilled those and then used hex head self-tappers and then used a wrench to put them in. It was a little tight, with a little work though, and I needed those pliers to hold them in place while we started screwing them in. Was able to get that to go. Also, the way I lined this up, I made it so these top holes that were in the mounting plate had to be re-drilled a little higher, but they then went through the very top of the side mounting or the side plate to the roof rack. But that height then allowed for this electrical cable to come just right over top of the roof rack. It fits just perfectly. We'll route it underneath here to go across to the roof gland. But it fits just right over top there. Okay, here's the camera system. It's from Join Glow.